Introducing the brand new Pet Simulator 99 huge dinosaur cat. This one's actually not super big, but it's at least 8.5 inches in the... Oh, sorry about that, guys. I think I might have choked on some air or something. But did you know that Walmart.com has this on sale for Cyber Monday for only $15? And it comes with a code, too! If you have Walmart Plus, it's actually free shipping, too, so yeah.
So we are currently on day 3 for the brand new Titanic teddy bear update. However, I have spent the last 2 days essentially studying how the market is currently going, aka the economy. Now, nobody is really talking about this, but I have noticed a very hidden deflation that is currently happening with this event. Technically, this is not a bad thing for players out there, if anything, because we do have a deflation that is happening. But once the event starts picking up for the Titanic, essentially being crafted like crazy, of course, absolutely everyone is going to be going nuts, buying huges, and the stat pets needed to make these huge pets. But as you can tell, I have been here for probably 30-40 minutes now, and I have just been watching this one little bag of turkey presents. These should be worth around 500,000 if that, and this person right here is selling them for 280,000 a piece. Yet, nobody is buying them. I know players out there are a little perplexed, aka a little confused as to why this is happening, what is going on, and what are players focusing on during this update if they're not buying anything that is needed to create a huge Titanic. So let's go ahead and talk about that, because that affects all of us at the end of the day. So as I've mentioned, I have spent the last 2 days basically studying absolutely everything that is essentially struggling to sell. This includes all of the huges from the event that is currently happening. The one that is struggling the most right now is definitely the huge red wolf. Now, obviously we know the wrap for this is around 50 million gems, if that. Right now I believe it's 51.8 million, but are you able to sell it for the wrap price? I have seen players stand here for hours trying to sell it even at wrap, though there are a couple of players out there that I've seen sell it instantly. However, I've been seeing a lot of players actually sell these around the price that you're currently seeing on the auction. I had to take a picture of it and share it with my Discord to basically warn them that there might be something happening for players to not buy these. So as you can tell, there's a new one that's currently listed, and it is only going to sell for that price right there, that 40 million. There's a reason why players are kind of backing away from actually buying from the huges versus actually just buying the little baby mimics and the teddy bears needed in order to make a huge red wolf. We'll do some math real quick, because it took me a while to figure out, like, it's better for you to actually sell little baby chest mimics and little baby bears, so long as the math correlates correctly with the huge red wolf. I feel like people want to go ahead and create and convert those little baby pets to make their own huges rather than buy them. Even at 45 million gems, nobody actually wanted to bid on this, though I feel like this person just might have gotten really unlucky not selling it, because this should sell at 45 million. Might take a second, but it would sell at 45 million. I will see this booth specifically right here in this trade hub sell maybe 1 or 2 of these huge red wolves. Now, they are 40 million each, so this is definitely at least 11 to 12 million lower than the actual wrap itself. However, I do see players buy out any of the teddy bears and any of the chest mimics before the huge itself, and that's rather interesting, at least to me. I decided to go ahead and do some math. So let's say that you're selling a huge red wolf for 40 million gems. Well, technically you do need only 10 chest mimics in order to go ahead and convert it. However, if you were to list it, you would have to sell it for 4 million a piece for it to actually sell for you to convert this. Want to see what sells first? Who's gonna buy a wolf quicker versus the chest mimics being sold at 4 million a piece? Now, keep in mind, this is only for the base one, the normal one. For everything else that is golden rainbow stuff like that has to be calculated in a different sense, because it is a different tier. So let me go ahead and do that right now and see what happens. I have my entire collection that I've been working on for the entire after 2 days from this event. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add this up real quick, and I'm gonna pull out 10 of these. So these need to be 40 million to at least match what we're putting up here. So we're gonna see which one sells quicker in the sense of, do they want a wolf or do they want to go ahead and buy these separately to make on their own? And we're gonna see how long this takes for either or to sell before the other. All right, so I decided to just skip to this essential part, which took 4 minutes for like a few of these to actually sell. This person here decided to go ahead and buy a few of the chest mimics for around 11 million gems. Now, why did that player decide to go ahead and do that? They probably were missing a couple of them to basically make a huge pet, which is the reason why they preferred to actually buy the chest mimics. Then 42 seconds later, another player decided to go ahead and buy out the rest of the chest mimics, as you can see from this video here. So that's 27.7 million that I was able to make just from the little chest mimics, even though it is the same amount if you were to essentially sell the huge. We're absolutely willing to buy the chest mimics at that price, even though it essentially equates to basically the same thing. What about the teddy bears? So if we were to use the same equation of 40 million divided by 100, because you do need to essentially make 100 of these to make a ton of chest mimics. This means you do need to sell these at 400,000 or vice versa. If you are the buyer, you need to spend at least 400,000 or lower to basically not go over that price. So let's go ahead and figure this out real quick. List 10 of them, and we're gonna put these at 400,000 a piece. And I want to see how long this actually takes to sell, because again, you need 100 of these to make at least 10 of the chest mimics. Math is crazy. Okay, and then the teddy bears itself here specifically sold after 5 minutes or so. So they finally sold. Whoa, wait, what now? There could be a few reasons for whatever is happening currently right now. One, it could be that a lot of players out there are basically going off of the Titanic's wrap. Now, obviously, this is not worth 6 billion gems. Though, all of the stuff, such as the huges, the baby pets, stuff like that, it might actually reflect to a lot of players out there that really do believe that the wrap itself for this bear is only 6 billion gems, and they will not want to spend more than what the actual bear itself is shown here, which obviously at some point this probably will go up slowly. Booth here sold 52 of the golden autumn teddy bears, and they actually sold. Now the only difference is they actually were selling these teddy bears at 400,000 a piece. Now if somebody were to buy all 100 of them, this would actually convert to 40 million gems. So they made their gems. Granted, when you actually look at the huge red wolf over here, obviously the wrap tells you that it's 55 million, though nobody's gonna buy it for 55 million gems. Obviously, if this player actually wanted to, the one that just bought it, they could actually sell these for just a little bit more. Obviously, it has to match, not too crazy, right, to whatever they're actually selling on the booth, but enough for it to become a profit. This person was able to create just maybe 5 million or so profit by buying, or perhaps maybe they're gonna go and convert those into basically making their own huge and try to sell 100 autumn teddy bears that are rainbow at 600,000 gems each. What does that equate to if you were to go ahead and do that? Well, that's 60 million gems. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how much this is worth. So this person here is selling 100 of these teddy bears. Now, if they were to sell all of them, that's 60 million gems. The huge red wolf right here is supposedly 117 million gems. Am I able to get that price? Probably not. If I'm lucky, I might be able to maybe get around 70 to 80 million. Now, I know there's everybody's probably saying like, oh no, you can probably sell that for 100 million gems, which I might, but I am extremely impatient when it comes to selling in this game specifically. So if I'm able to get a quick 80 million, 70 million gems, I would not care. I would not mind. Huge dark fox. This one is a little tricky because yes, you're gonna have to convert teddy bears to mimics, then the mimics to the wolf, and then 10 of those wolves to create one dark fox. Now, from there, you need to have 10 of these to make one chest huge mimic. And then from there, you need 5 of those huge chest mimics to actually create the Titanic. So yes, this event does cause a lot of players to give up very quickly when it comes to converting pets, which is probably one of the main reasons why nobody's really focusing too much on actually buying to go ahead and create a Titanic. They're buying so they can create stuff to hopefully sell. But the problem is, right now, the market is too flooded with these pets to the point where nobody wants them. So they're just going to dwindle and actually go down lower in price the more this update progresses throughout the week. The only people that might actually just buy these is once that Titanic starts to kickstart and actually go down very quickly. Then you'll see a tiny influx of players out here freaking out selling these for very cheap, and then you will be able to make your gems. Of course, that supply and demand is going to hit very hard once we hit under like maybe 500 of these Titanics. Then again, it's kind of hard to tell because nobody's really buying anything. If they're buying, they're primarily focusing on the smaller pets more than the huges itself. And this also includes the gift bags as well, which is kind of it's kind of crazy because you're seeing all of these gift bags being sold way under price. This has to be at least 50% under what the actual valuation is worth. So I believe there is a huge reason for this. It's on one more booth, okay? So we have a player here who is selling 20 of the little teddy bears at 350,000 each. If you were to go ahead and maybe buy, like hypothetically saying, let's say they had 100 of them, you would only be spending 35 million to essentially create the huge, which is cheap. That is actually really cheap. So I feel like the route right now everybody should primarily focus on, if you're struggling for gems, and I mean struggling for gems, stop converting your huges and stop making them. Sell the pets that you get so long as you are able to figure out the math and do your research. This is what I'm going to focus on, and I'm actually going to go ahead and stop making my huges on my account. If I see that these are selling faster, of course I'm going to go ahead and focus on just selling these little stat pets. I feel like I'm going to make more gems that way because at the end of the day, I'm not losing anything other than the fact I'm not converting anything anymore. It's the same price, but people want to go ahead and buy the baby bear and the chest mimic. So keep that in mind. And also for your gift bags, everybody, this is extremely important, okay? This is like extremely important. You do not want to get stuck with any of these bags. Realistically, once an event is over and they are not a topic and they're not relevant, all of these are irrelevant. You might have players out there that do content and do YouTube videos that might want to actually buy a ton of these, or you might have somebody extremely rich in the game that might buy these and open them, but nobody's gonna want to go ahead and pay this much for bags in the long run. I see so many players out here inside of the game that actually hold on to these to the point where it just doesn't really make sense to me, and they're stuck with them. A great example of this is I had 5,000 of these. I decided to sit in the trade hub for almost 5 hours once at 45,000 gems a piece. Now, I didn't sell that many. Even at 45,000, I went down to 40. Nothing. So I ended up getting stuck with a bunch of these because I felt like maybe perhaps this update would have utilized them, which they did not, which is totally fine. But either way, if you have a ton of these, take advantage of selling them ASAP at a really good price. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck with them and you're going to hate the fact that you're stuck with them. Could do something. I could sell these at 35 million a piece, which, you know, obviously will sell at that price because it's completely lower than actually buying 10 of these little mimics, at least the normal ones, and I'll make 210 million gems just by doing this. Now, I know because we're comparing up the first update versus this update. The first update with the huge scarecrow dog was phenomenal for gem making. Now, the second part, it's a little bit of a struggle because nobody's wanting to buy any of these this time around. So it's going to be a little hard to actually profit from this event as long as you're smart about what you're selling, who you're selling to, and what you're able to take advantage of. Now, another thing what you guys can do is you could sell these things on Big Games' Discord server. The only thing is you need to be level 2 in order to make posts hosts inside of that server, but you have a lot of people there to compete with when it comes to selling things. So you have to be smart and you have to be diligent when it comes to all of this. We still have a good amount of days before Saturday hits again, and the clock is ticking for that Titanic. Now, I could just sit here and maybe attempt to try to get the Titanic, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So the best next thing for me to do is try to make as much gems as possible. So one more finalization to make it a little less confusing for those that might have stuck around for this. So what I'm going to do is stop converting pets into huges. They do not sell. And if they do, you are lucky. What I'm going to do is I'm going to collect a ton of the little baby pets. Occasionally check to see how much people are buying these huges for. Now I know I said they don't sell, but they do sometimes. Not at the wrap price, but around 40 million and under. So long as this is able to maintain that 40 million, then yes, I'll be continuing to sell them at the prices that I was showing earlier in this video today. Then afterwards, just go back to grinding, just getting the pets and just collecting as much stuff as possible. Now, for the gift bags itself, unfortunately, the real prices are around 250,000 a piece, and that's just an estimation. Granted, it is a little different depending on who you're talking to and who is selling them. Everybody is different and everybody has their own opinion when it comes to selling and basically collecting things. So for me personally, I am gonna go ahead and sell them for 250,000 and see how long it sells. Theories that other players had, maybe perhaps why nobody else was buying anything, was because of the terminal being broken essentially. There was a fix, but apparently people are still saying that it's not fixed, so I don't know what to believe in anymore. Or either that, you have a ton of people that are just consistently grinding the event, so they have no need to actually come into this section here. Not unless somebody is selling, or if there is a small handful of people actually trying to buy some of the pets. And of course, getting the upgrades from the gift bags. Now, this question primarily came from when I asked my entire Discord server, do you feel the new update caused players to not want to buy in the plaza? For example, a huge red fox for wrap. The primary answer that everybody went ahead and clicked on was, I have to sell things under wrap for it to sell. And obviously there was a small percentage of 8% that said I have no problem selling things for wrap. I feel like if we were to ask the masses, of course everybody is going to vote for I have to sell things under wrap for it to sell. So obviously this is something that is currently happening, and it is a small hidden deflation that nobody's really paying attention to, yet alone talk about. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about this and give you guys some advice. It's probably better to go ahead and sell the smaller pets just because of the fact that for some reason everybody wants to go ahead and convert these. Whether it's the cheaper route to go ahead and do this and players are trying to attempt to sell the huges, or attempt to get the Titanic for cheaper. Obviously, you can buy enough of these to make it at least worth 10 billion gems just by doing this method. So I guess the major question is, while I'm getting potions thrown in front of me, is what do you think is currently going on in the plaza? Why do you think nobody is currently buying anything? And until then, I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye everybody!